Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Cath. This week we're going to be talking about our action camera makeaway kit. We'll be going over everything in the bag, all of the mounts and brackets, as well as user manuals and how to start up and power your action camera. We have some really cool stuff in here. So let's get started. So first off, we have user manuals. These manuals show all kinds of mounts and straps that come with the action camera, bike mount, head mount, wrist mount, as well as a couple of things you'll see in this disclaimer. Not all products in the user manual are included in the package you receive, so there could be a couple of things in there that you don't have, but we have most of the important ones. Also, we have a quick reference guide. This will show you how to put the camera into the case, do the battery pack, as well as turn and power the camera on, as well as a QR code on the back you can scan with your phone, and it will give you more in-depth details. So this package contains everything you'll need just to use the action camera. So the camera itself, the batteries, the battery charger, the wrist strap, and the USB cord. So everything in here is all you really need in order to use the camera. Everything else is just a secondary, like the mounts. So I'm going to dump this out and show you each part. This is the camera. It's in the waterproof case. So while it's in this clear plastic case, the camera is waterproof. If it is out of the case, it is not waterproof. This is your battery charger. It comes with slots for 2 separate batteries. That way you can charge one while you're using one. And these just slip in like this. You just push them in. And then it has a USB connection, so you'll just connect your USB to your power supply, as well as this wrist strap. This wrist strap is Velcro. You can just open it and fit it to your wrist. So you just put it on like so. Tighten up your Velcro, and you can wear it as a wrist strap. The biggest thing about the wrist strap, it lets you do pictures and video, but the most important part of this is that this is not waterproof. So this, if you get it wet, will no longer work. So the camera is waterproof when it's in the plastic case. The wrist strap is not. So that's all you really need in order to get going. I'm going to show you a little bit in depth on the camera, how to turn it on, what the different buttons do, what it looks like when it's turned on. It has USB, micro, and mini, as well as a slot for a micro USB card, which we do not supply. You will have to supply yourself with one. You can pick those up from any pharmacy, grocery store, electronics store. So this is where your battery pack will go in. There are 3 prongs in the bottom. They'll just slide in. You'll push it down. And then just clip it in, push it shut. And that's all there is to it. You'll just press this button down until the light appears on the top, and that means the camera is on. So I'm just showing you it. It's in video mode right now. It'll show you how much battery life you have, how much recording time you've recorded on there. It's touchscreen, so you can just touch each menu item to change it. I'm just showing you a couple of different things. So this is on the wide angle option for the photo and video. You can change it here from video photo, burst, time-lapse photo, time-lapse video. So, and it's telling you no card because there's no card inserted. So just want to make sure you put a card in. Pressing the button on the front does change the modes. So time-lapse video, photo, burst photo, time-lapse photo, video, photo. So just showing you can do it there, or you can use the buttons on the side to go into each menu for when you can't touch it whenever it's in the waterproof case. You can't use the touch sensitivity, so that's why those buttons are on the side. Again, just showing the USB, and then this is where your micro SD card will go. And then to turn it off, you'll just hold it down until the light on the top of the camera goes off. And then your camera is turned off. Alright, we're going to move on to putting it back into the case. First, you take your battery out if you're going to store it for a while. Since I'm not going to be using any of the actual photo capabilities, I'm going to take the battery out. We're going to put it back in its waterproof case, and I'll show you some cool mounts that we have. So the first mount we have, as you can see, doesn't fit on there when the waterproof case is on, so you'll use one of these brackets and a screw. They're just a simple screw. You'll just screw it on tightly, and then you will use that mount to put it onto the selfie stick, which just screws on as well. Then once it's screwed on, you can adjust the selfie stick, and it just extends out like a regular selfie stick. Good for all kinds of fun stuff you can do with it, especially in the waterproof case. You can take it into the lake with you, though I wouldn't recommend that, but you could do that. Especially maybe if there's rain and you want to take pictures or videos, you can do it this way. So it just unscrews, and there you go. And then you're ready to move on to the next mount. Okay. For our next mount, we will be doing the suction cup. So this can be used to put on any kind of glass surface that it can suction to. Inside of a car is pretty typical sometimes. A glass surface in your home, like a window, maybe if you wanted to record some wildlife outside. So for the suction cup, there is this buckle clip, almost like a backpack, so that will slide into this bracket here. It only goes in one way. Don't try and force it in another way, so just be careful with that. Then this camera gets attached to that buckle bracket. You'll just, much like everything in this, you will just add the screw and screw it in. Taking the time to make sure everything lines up, otherwise you'll get what I have right here where I had to take it out and then put it back in because it was not quite lined up. So just use your patience. It takes a little bit of time to screw it on. Alright, screw it on. Alright, and then you can adjust the bottom suction cup, go back and forth. There's also another set of screws that lets you go up and down. So you can adjust all of these parts to go back and forth and up and down. So just showing you how much of a range it has here for the up and down. And you can also, using that little part at the bottom, that little thing will make the suction. So it'll be suctioned. Didn't work on my wood table, but it will suction onto your glass using that bottom lever. So then you'll just pinch those buckles together until you can slide it out. So you push it in, pinch those buckles, and you can pull it out. So that's just the most important, is that you make sure you're pinching them and you're not trying to force it off. Alright, so once we're done with that, we'll move on to the next mount. This mount is a wrist strap. So if you were biking or doing some kind of activity where you have a hands-free with your wrist, you could attach it to your wrist. And it's customizable to a bunch of different sizes, just Velcro. So I find it easiest to adjust it first before you put the camera on. That's one less thing in the way. So you'll take your camera, you will make sure everything is lined up on your mount, and then you will just tighten it up. Make sure it's tight to make it stay upright so it's not flopping back and forth while you're wearing it. This, slide your wrist in so you can use it riding a bike. Just showing you some different things it can do. So if you're riding a bike or motorcycle, you can kind of put it on there. Maybe when you're swimming, you could do something like that. This mount does go up, back and forth, and then it has a 360 rotation, so it can rotate 360 degrees on your wrist to try and capture things. So that's really nifty and fun. But to take it off, you'll just unscrew it. And there you go, and you're ready to go on to the next mount. Alright, the next one we have is a flotation handle. So this is specifically used with the waterproof case for you to be able to take it into the water with you. So you'll just screw on the handle like so. Make sure it's nice and tight. And it will be just like this. So you'll hold on to it. You can use it, underwater, in the water. It will float like so on top of the water if you let it go. So the biggest part of this is that you'll want to make sure you don't do what I did and forget to put on the wrist strap. So to put on the wrist strap, you'll unscrew the handle. Place the small strap around the top, and then screw the camera back on, and that will trap that little loop in between the handle and the camera. And this is mostly just so you can use it on your wrist to hold on to it, so if you do let go of it, it will float. It can't come off. But yeah, you'll just adjust it before you put it on. And then that little just clips down and makes it tight. Yeah, and that's really just so, like with a surfboard, it doesn't drift away from you and you lose it. So always make sure you put on the wrist strap. Just take it off. Then you'll unscrew. And pull off the strap, and you'll be ready for your next mount. So this is a backpack clip. It's almost like any other kind of clip you would use to hold something on. The mount screws on. You just make sure it's tight. And then you can open and close this, and it's used for a backpack strap or any other kind of place you would need to clip it on. It's got some nice tight teeth. So to take it off, you'll just unscrew it the way it went on. And then you'll be ready to move on to your next mount. This is a tripod. The neat thing about this tripod is it has a 360 rotating head. So you'll screw the mount onto the rotating head. So that's a ball jointed head, which will let you move it all kinds of ways. The best thing is this is an octopus tripod. You can bend the legs into any shape to make it, fit on your wrist or something like that. It will go around a flagpole, on a tree limb, so you'll just be able to manipulate the legs to kind of really form the way you need it for whatever you're shooting. But you'll just screw on the screw to the mount and the mount onto the tripod. And then the top allows you to manipulate it to move it to any angle. You can also change that angle to make it be really tight and be upright. It's also just you can hold it in your hand like so. But it's just a really fun, unique tripod mount for when you need your camera to stand up on an unconventional terrain or footing. So you'll just unscrew your top from your tripod, and then I'll show you. This is a mount for a bike handle, so it will screw onto your bike handle using a set of screws that already come attached. So in order to open it, you'll want to unscrew both of the screws. I'm going to show you how to do it on the selfie stick, how it would be like on a pair of handlebars. You'll just squeeze it in between the two, and then screw the screws back on to tighten it, to get it to have a good grip. There's a piece of rubber in the middle that gives you more grip, so you don't have to worry about it sliding off. You just screw those on. Once those are nice and tight, then you will just attach the mount. Alright, once you get your screw nice and tightened, then you can see whenever you're riding your bike, you can record what's going past. And it's just a nice sturdy mount, and then whenever you're ready to take it off, you just unscrew the camera first, take that off, and then you'll unscrew each of the screws on the bar, and then you might just be able to slide it off like that. Yeah, and there's that piece of rubber silicone in the middle to give it a good grip. Alright, next, this is the mount you can use if you don't plan on using your action camera anywhere near water. This is just the typical mount that will screw onto whatever you need. It has two clips that'll just hold it in place, so you can just screw onto the selfie stick directly without having to use any brackets or any modifications for it. You can just screw that on there. You can also screw it onto the selfie stick, just like so, and then you'll just have that. But yeah, this is specifically only if you plan to not use it anywhere near water. This is the bracket mount you can use. So then you just lift up on that little tab and it will come right out. Showing how to attach that once you've taken it out of the case. This is how you put it back on. Just make sure you clip it really hard, and now it's waterproof again. Alright, now I'm going to show you how to use the chest mount. There is this mount with the buckle on it that will allow you to slide in just push it down. You'll grab your camera, screw it on nice and tight, and then this just slips. You slip your arm through it, over your head, and down. There are buckles that allow you to adjust the tightness of it. There's even a buckle on the side for you to, undo it if you need to. But yeah, the chest mount is definitely so you can have hands free. And then you can just slip out of it like you would a t-shirt. Unscrew your screw, take off your bracket, and then you'll just push on the buckles at the bottom to slide it out. And then the next I'm going to show you how to use the head-mounted camera. Much like the chest bracket, you'll just screw it in. And then I'll show you how to put it on. So just like a headlamp. I don't have the screw tightened quite tight enough so the camera will flop down. So if it keeps flopping down, just make sure you have the screws lined up and it's nice and tight. There we go. So you can kind of wear it all around, and that is all you have to do for the head mount. Then you'll just unscrew it, and then it just slides right off. All right. So as you can see, we have quite a few parts here. And with each of those parts, there's a couple of different configurations. We have some extra straps for whatever you may need them for to make your own custom mount, perhaps. We got a few different types of mounting brackets as well. So these just are 2 canvas. Here's a couple of different brackets that I didn't use, but you can use for different things as well. So those are options. And then we have a couple of different screws of different sizes. Some have long handles on them and some have short handles. So the long ones are short ones. So there's a couple of those. There's also some buckles that you can use as well. But I'm just going to do a rundown of everything I went over here. Here's a picture of all of it together. So just go out and have fun with this action camera. There are all kinds of different ways you can use it and different capabilities. But if you happen to find any really cool footage or take some pictures of yourself with your action camera, we would love to see it. Thank you again for joining me, and I look forward to seeing what you guys do with the action camera. Have a good one. Goodbye.